Hi, guys. It is an absolutely spectacularly gorgeous. We're talking a seriously over the top beautiful day here in South Austin, Texas, baby. We're, I guess tomorrow we're going to be going to 88 degrees on the second day of it is 2026. It is now a unbelievable, guys. It is here. It is Thursday, January 1st, 2026, and I cannot think of a better way to mourn the fact that humans did not go extinct by 2026, and all the bets are being paid off and collected by the ass-licking toadies. But here is a man who is not an ass-licking toady and would have been collecting the bet if anybody had made it. We're saying hello to my good friend Eliot Jacobson. Professor, you come on. He is out in Santa Barbara, California. I guess you did not wash away this week, Eliot. Is that correct?
Well, we have tried our best to wash away, Sam, but yeah, happy 2026 to you. Yeah, humans are not yet extinct, and I just want to clear this up because this seems to be like, why are you even saying that? Some people might not know why we are saying that, right?
I
So,
can't believe they would. Anyway, but why are we saying this? That humans are not extinct here at 2026?
well, there is a infamous doomer. You might
Yeah.
call one of the true doomiest doomers. I don't know how to say it any more than that. Who made a prediction? You might know when this started. I can trace it back to the early 2010s sometime.
Yeah, it was around 2010, I'm
And that
thinking.
prediction was that come January 1st, 2026, there would not be a human left on the planet. Not a single human on the planet.
And
Now,
God damn it, he was wrong again.
now that same prediction kept on getting repeated with this particular date. I have it on record through about the end of 2018. It might have been used after that date. I don't know. But I have it at least on record. And there was an actual wager made with this individual. And what's his name? Scott Simon was the person who took the other side of the
Stuart
wager.
Scott.
Oh,
I think you're
Stuart
thinking of
Scott.
Stewart, but a hell of a lot of people made their predictions.
Well,
Stewart is extinct, unfortunately. We
yeah.
so cannot collect his bet. You know, my bet goes uncollected. My bet has been going on for 15 years. I never had Guy McPherson or one of his ass licking toadies ever take my bet, and that was I will bet any one of you $10,000. It was like two parts. That A, not only will humans not be extinct by 2026, there will be more humans on January 1st, 2026 than on December 31st, 2025. It was a two-part bet, and it's a $10,000 bet. I bet any one of them this, and if humans were not extinct, that they owed me $10,000. And if humans were extinct, I owed them
Well,
$10,000.
but the way the other
I
wager
never
works is
got a
he paid in
taker.
advance. He paid in advance, right? He gave them the money in advance so
Uh,
that they could so that McPherson and those folks could use the money because
so they
they
put it in escrow.
yeah, I suppose, but I also tried to make that wager. I offered any number of them the opportunity. And the way
Well,
I put it was not that either humans are extinct or not. I said that the total humans on the planet will be over 8 billion
yeah,
as of January 1st, 2026. So that was my wager that
there
that
you go.
there would be more than 8 billion humans. And I was making this wager back when there was about
Yeah, oh
7.6
yeah, oh yeah.
billion humans, right? So just to clear the air here, as of today, there are about 8.28 billion humans, 8 billion 280 million humans we're increasing by roughly 1 million humans on the planet every 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
So, we are getting more than 250,000 new humans a day on this planet. And the prediction right now for the end of 2026 is we will have maybe 8,340,000,000. So we're going to go up.
Well, do 250,000 times 365,
Yeah.
and you'll be pretty
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
And add it to today. Start with today. Do 240,000 times 365 and add it to today.
So,
But anyway, I don't know if you saw my comment when you posted this a couple of days ago. I don't buy this 8.2 billion. Nobody has any clue how many humans are on this planet. Nobody has any clue how many humans are on this planet.
well,
And the
that's
answer is there's
true.
too damn many. There's too damn many humans on the planet.
Well, what you're saying is objectively correct. You can make some estimates. Somebody has to make an estimate, right? Use the best
Yeah.
science they can to make an estimate. Whether it's right or wrong is obviously wrong, but at least somebody's out there making these estimates. And I just always whatever wager I offer, I always say, here's the source of my data and
Yeah.
basing it on that. If you think that data has a bias, you have to figure out that bias, and there you go. Any rate, back to the wager at hand.
Okay.
We we do have humans on the planet today. So
We
this
do.
way,
That's the biggest bad news of
right.
2026. The first bad news of the year.
So the wager has been updated by Guy, just so we know, or the forecast, that now there will be no humans, not a single human on the planet by January 1st, 2030. And
But he's even fudged that one.
yes, yes. And the fudge is, um, quote, unless the peer-reviewed journal articles are wrong. So So I have never seen or heard of a peer-reviewed journal article that has made the claim that there will be no humans on the earth by January 1st, 2026 or 2030. These articles do talk about the rates of polar ice melt and other stuff like that. And one could, try and draw a line that has never been published to say there will be extinction. But yeah, you said the fudge. That's the fudge. The fudge is unless these peer-reviewed journal articles are
That's a
wrong.
pretty big fudge. That's a pretty big fudge log, to put it mildly. Well, I am making the prediction there will be more humans on January 1st, 2030 than there are today. Now, at some point, there is going to be a year in this century when there's going to be fewer humans on December 31st of that year than January 1st. Some point this century, you agree with me on this,
Oh yeah,
Eliot?
yeah. I have in fact um, made the prediction that somewhere between 2050 and 2060 is going to
Or,
be when there's this flip in the
yeah,
other
when it
direction.
finally flips, when the line finally
Yeah,
crosses.
yeah, stops going
Uh,
up and starts going down. And
well, I used to say 2070, and I'm getting closer to 2050, but at some point, the bottleneck is going to arrive, and there's going to be more people getting squeezed out of the top of the bottle than going into the bottom. So, I look forward to that day. But I will probably be dead. But
yeah, well, as I recall, your prediction is in an answer to the question, when will global industrial civilization collapse? And if I remember correctly, your prediction is March 17th, 2074.
oh, that well, no, I brought that. It used to be at
Okay.
4:07 p.m.
That's 7 million.
That was the answer I gave for years. I might bring that a little closer to 2050.
All right. Well,
But the AI thing, I mean, this is the new this is the new wild card. This whole AI shit. It's just it's creepy. We're in the twilight zone.
yeah. Well, it's a different trajectory for doom than the climate. It's a whole different way that is just barely being understood right now. But it also I have friends who are AI doomers. They're not climate doomers. They're AI. My nephew is an AI doomer. The guy that I play music with most often is an AI doomer. He doesn't want to talk about climate doom. They'll talk about AI doom with me all day long, but
Yeah, yeah. No, there's. I think AI, at least it's bringing more doomers into the fold. You can give it that. It's waking people up. And then they'll start listening to all of our other doom and gloom stuff. So,
Well,
uh,
so I wrote this essay about the 22 types of doomers,
you
and
have 22 now.
there are 22. You occupy your own niche, which is very close to the black
To
hat
Black Hat.
doomer. The black hat
But you
doomer.
haven't quite gone to eco-Nazi doomer. This
I
is me and Andy the gardener are the only two that I know. We're
and that's those are good ones. So how would you define an eco-Nazi doomer?
and eco-Nazi, it's very simple. We start with your definition of black hat doomer. Then we're going to take that to the last notch. Of course, I was getting complaints. I think I mentioned this that I am not doomer enough for some people. But anyway, so start with black hat doomer for the people not aware of it, and then I'm going to edit that towards eco-Nazi doomer.
So, what is the defining principle or meme for an eco-Nazi?
Well,
What is?
you're supposed to. We're waiting for the definition of black hat doomer because it
Oh,
incorporates every. Or do you need to go running around looking for
no,
that?
I just got to go on the web. I'll read the definition of black hat doomer right here. I got it. Just hang on.
And this is your definition, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah, yeah,
AI's.
yeah.
Okay, okay,
So it's actually I'm not the one who came up with the notion of a black hat doomer. This was this fellow Ian, who always called himself a black hat doomer, and he's the one who came up with the phrase "choking on hope" that you may
okay.
remember.
There you go.
So the black hat doomer not only foresees the collapse of human civilization, but actively desires and advocate for the total extinction of humanity. The doomer views humans as an irredeemable cancer responsible for environmental devastation, overpopulation, resource depletion, and endless suffering. They see human extinction as a compassionate act. So the one that is most famous is Les Knight, that I know you interviewed, and his famous sort of catchphrase, "May we live long and die out." So. Um,
Okay, well, so I am certainly into that. Make no mistake about it. I'm a black hat doomer, so there's really not that much shade. The the eco Nazi, it's the final solution. There is one problem on this planet. There, well, there's sort of 8.2 billion or whatever number one to use. There's one problem on this planet, as I said in the Soft White Underbelly interview, wearing this shirt, it is humans. There's one problem on this planet. It's humans. If the problem is humans, the solution is to get rid of the humans. It's the final solution. The only hope that our fellow Earthlings have any chance of is for humans to go extinct. I am an active supporter of human extinction. Now, and what has happened literally in the last few weeks after watching that 3 hour, the best doomer YouTube, I did a review of it, and I think Lyle Lewis, we've both done our reviews called Greenwashed. by that woman down in Mexico. Her name is Sophia. It's 3 hours if greenwashed. You can find it on YouTube. It was after that I took the last step. I have always said, and I still say that I prefer this to be voluntary, like Let's Unite, a voluntary human extinction movement, like me getting a vasectomy before ever having a kid. I still prefer that, but I have finally jumped the shark. Is if AI or the space aliens want to figure out a way to take out humans, to raise the death rate, I'm fine with it. For the first time, I am fine. We need humans off the planet. I am not advocating other humans deciding which humans stay or go. But if AI or the space aliens wants to nip this shit in the bud, they have my full support. So literally just happened in the last month that I have become. I've removed the last. We got to go. It's that simple.
All right. Well, that's a good summary. And I had this weird thought while you were saying that, Sam. I don't know what the answer to this question would be, but in
Okay.
everything you know about the history of this planet, all the species, all the animals, all the, hundreds of millions of years there's been life on this planet. Is there any species, Tyrannosaurus Rex or some bacteria or anything you can think of in the history of this planet that you would say, I'm glad that went more than wanting humans to go. I mean, do you think humans are the
No,
singular,
we're the biggest mistake
the singular worst species to ever sort of
oh
evolve
yeah,
on this?
there's no one in my rearview mirror that there's never been anything uh like us to hit the planet. Well, there's been a few things like us to literally hit the planet, like
Right, yeah,
asteroids and shit.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Who
okay.
knows? Well, you have never told us what kind of doomer you are. I'm assuming you are a data doomer, at least.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of doomer I am is the kind of mathematician I was, or the kind of casino person I was. I look at data, obsessively, and I'm always seeing how I can pull some information out from data to tell me something about what's coming in the future. And I am not, one of the things about me when I was a mathematician is I was never interested in the most abstract, complicated, mathematics out there that would get you some award or prize or into Harvard. I was always interested in how can I make something interesting out of the least amount of sort of sophistication possible, you know? And so it's what I still do now with the data every single day that I'm collecting. I'm just putting it out there every single day,
You are, bro.
and then I've sort of developed these quirky things I do. One is this sort of breaking news thing that I'll put out there. I don't know if you've seen those, but I put breaking news, and then I have three different codes for those. I have a code yikes, which is just an ordinary, like, this is
Yeah.
bad. A code UFB, unfucking believable, right? Which is for something that's a record or something that's never been like that before. And then a code foobar, which is something that's so off the charts, it means there's been a huge paradigm shift in terms of global climate. And so that's one of the things, that I kind of like to do is with my data. The other one is that I have this thing called the Climate 8 Ball. And the Climate 8 Ball is this character now who gets drunk, is getting into trouble, is always depressed, doesn't know. I mean, maybe you are the Climate 8 Ball. Maybe I
Nice.
maybe I'm
Well, more
channeling
like
you.
the cue ball, more like the climate cue ball than the eight ball, but I'll
Well,
take it.
the 8 ball. often just says, the climate eight ball is drunk again. That's all I'll say, rather than the climate eight ball making a prediction. So, the yesterday the climate eight ball refused to comment. There was something that happened, and I contacted the climate eight ball, it refused. So, it's sort of like right now, and I get where you're coming from, Sam. Right now, the doomosphere is possessed with so many really articulate people, great writers, pumping out stuff like crazy. Um, there's articles all the time and on Substack and the Guardian and everywhere you look, saying this stuff. And sort of like I don't want to try and compete with that. Let them have their space, right? Let them have their type of doom. I'm just going to put out the data, and the data says it for me.
And we're
Um,
fucked.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't mean that behind that I don't have some additional, sort of misanthropic opinions, which I mean, right? People not a big fan, right? I mean that is that is a great understatement, right? The greatest understatement.
Well,
But
of course, I would change that to humans, not a because humans not a big fan because I mean I'm sitting here in Austin, Texas because I am a big fan of people. I continue to say it. I love people. I'm out here spending the holidays with my people. Uh,
yeah,
but humans,
yeah. I agree. I
another
often
story.
when I talk about this shirt, I often um, use humans. But I mean, one of the things that this sort of approach I've taken gives me, um, because I don't exaggerate data, right? I'm not like Sam Carana and
Yeah,
Richard Krim and a bunch of other people. They will take the data, the same data I'm using. They'll take that data and they'll show, well, let's fit an exponential curve, and it means by the year
yeah, yeah.
2030 we're going to be 6C over pre-industrial, and finding ways to manipulate the data so that it says the worst case scenario, right, is not what I want to do.
You
Uh,
don't need to. And do you
well,
think Sam Carrana is Guy McPherson or not?
um, I don't, because I don't think Guy is capable of that kind of analysis.
Well, when I point blank asked him, he did not admit or deny it. He
Well,
did not vehemently deny that he was not Sam Carrana.
well,
So
I
I
don't
honestly
I
think,
don't think Guy has the capacity to censor himself. Um, and Sam Carana follows me, right? And if that was Guy, I mean, I think he would have
yeah.
said something, you know. I don't think Guy has the, Guy is the one who's going to go out of his way to set you up for you know,
Yeah.
a
Okay.
slow burn.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Who gives a damn? So what is your do you have a FUBAR prediction for 2026? A rough date and what it's going to look like? Let's see how close you get.
um, I don't have a foobar. There's a lot of things that could happen in 2026 that are going to be records. One is just the polar ice minimums coming up in the next month or two. That's the total ice on the planet. It varies, during the year. And I've sort of given an informal prediction we're going to have a lower minimum than we ever had before, and the Arctic maximums coming up soon, and you know that is likely to be the lowest maximum. I mean, if you pretty much everything you look at is code UFB right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just record setting. And you can't say that too many times, Sam. People, it loses its impact if you like, oh, code UFB, right? It's like, so what?
Well,
Um,
at 88 degrees on January 2nd, and it was 83 on Sunday was the high, 43 was the high on Monday,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
88 is the high on Friday.
Well,
So
we've had
let's
our
call it weather
yearly
whiplash.
rainfall total already here, Sam. Let me tell you two things that happened this year that are highlights for me. I want to show them to you.
All right.
Um, One is, I don't know if I showed this to you, my copy of Overshoot.
Yeah, I say that
Did you
that
see
he signed it from the grave.
well, he signed it, and I figured out who this person is, Bill Freudenberg. So Will Catton signed it to Bill Freudenberg. It turns out that one of my best local friends that I've known for almost a decade now, we volunteered together multiple times. Um, Her name is Sarah. Her last name is not Freudenberg. It turns out Bill Freudenberg was her husband, who died in, I think, 2010.
Yeah.
And this book is from when Will Catton went out to dinner with Bill
Oh,
Freudenberg and Sarah at a restaurant right down the street from me. So,
you got the book.
so I somehow got this book.
But that's not the biggest book moment of your year.
Oh, oh,
That's the
oh,
runner up.
oh, you know it then. Yeah, no, this is the biggest book moment
Yes,
of the
you read
year.
it to me. So
Yeah, can I read again? You,
share it, share
it,
it with the folks here.
we'll share it with,
I am very jealous of this man for this. I have to admit we got
yeah,
some doomer envy going here.
yeah, no, Michael Mann has famously been attacking Doomers, I think, since the late 20 teens when he had a big fight with David Wallace Wells. And then he wrote the book, what was it? The New Climate Wars was his first out and out attack on Doomers. I think that was it. But at any rate, Doomers show up in everything he writes now. So I'm going to read this to you. Um, Doom porn sells, and it is surely borne fruit for the polluters, petrostates, and plutocrats who are fanning its flames. Consider the vitriol directed at Catherine Hayhoe and myself by ostensible climate advocates who insist it's too late to act and dismiss our messaging on urgency and efficiency as hopium. The implication being that we sell hope in the way, say, that junkies on the street might sell drugs. It's the sort of smear you might expect from climate deniers, but instead it comes from those who ostensibly are on the side of climate action. I loathe man and hey-ho, tweets Eliot Jacobson, a self-avowed doomer with a substantial Twitter following, who derides us as hopium addicts. So that is
There you
that.
go.
Yeah. So
And you have an autographed copy
and
from
I
my.
have an
Isn't that an
autograph.
autographed copy?
I happen to have. So what happened is that Michael Mann and I have regained our footing with each other. He doesn't block me, and I think the reason he doesn't block me is that I don't exaggerate. I present data. I present data with a doom narrative, but I'm not you know exaggerating stuff for the way he feels that some people have been doing that. So he wrote me a inscription. So I'll read the inscription. It says to Eliot, let me offer this postscript. Eliot Jacobson is one of the heroes in this story.
There you go.
So um,
I'm I'm not sure what that passive aggressive comment means
it's definitely
exactly.
passive aggressive. It's absolutely passive, but I love it for.
Of course it is.
I sort of love that he found that language in there,
Yeah,
you know, so I'm an icon of somebody that he can use to further his own narrative about how bad doomers are. I'm a hero in that sense. I can stand me up as like someone, don't be, this guy's horrible.
I
I guess
cannot imagine.
that would be an anti-hero, right? I'd be an anti-hero, so I don't know. So
If Michael Mann has ever heard my name, I would be completely shocked. I have never had a comment from the man on any of my 10,000 videos. Never a mention, never an email. I think I am completely under Michael Mann's radar, is my guess, and I guess I'm proud of that.
yeah, I don't know. I his he is kind of a doomer himself. Because just as Guy McPherson said that caveat, unless the um, authors of these peer-reviewed studies are wrong, as his caveat, Michael Mann has a caveat as well. He says, unless we do X, Y, and Z, then these things are going to happen, right?
Then the
And
Doomers are right.
right, unless X,
If
Y,
we don't do, you mean if we don't do X, Y,
if we
and Z?
don't do X, Y, and Z, if we don't,
If,
convert to renewables and
if we
and
don't keep our pecker in our pants, we're gonna breed ourselves to our own extinction and the extinction of. Uh,
I'm sure that's what he was thinking, Sam.
does he have three kids?
I don't know.
I think he has three. I'm pretty sure Michael has three.
Yeah. So, um, you know, for me, those are uh, it's just a kind of a good thing for me to be in touch with him like that. It's like yes, he is been accused by many people of lying, right? Guy McPherson says over and over that Michael Mann is lying. A lot of people say Michael Mann is lying. Um, I don't take a side on that. What I can say is that he is a doomer at heart, in my opinion. I don't know how to classify him as a doomer. He is maybe an ain't gonna happen doomer because the things that he says need to have happen
Ain't gonna happen.
ain't gonna happen, right?
There you go.
So, do you have any ain't gonna happens for 2026, Sam?
Good Lord. Everything ain't gonna happen. I can't think of one of these hopium soaked things. It's name one that is gonna. I mean, to make one iota of difference in the downward spiral of everything. I cannot think of one thing that is going to happen to change the trajectory of this civilization and this species and this planet. Not I cannot come up with one.
Um, well, can you name something, I mean, other than there being fewer humans that would actually help? I mean, it's not just for me, it's like ain't gonna happen. It's like what isn't gonna happen? Things that make no difference anyway aren't gonna happen.
But
It's
that's what I'm. Yeah, that's now. I still and I can hear Sandy Shellis throwing rocks at. I am 100% in favor of small local actions. Stopping like Sandy's big into stopping pipelines. I am 100% every pipeline we can stop, every fracking thing that they can stop. I 100% am cheerleading that just to keep little pockets, but it's to help you sleep better at night on a planetary scale. These little local victories are going to mean nothing, but I still cheer every one of them on.
yeah, and
Uh,
I think the idea I've always sort of used to describe that is uh, the idea is to leave the planet as much as we can, to do everything we can to preserve the planet for whatever comes after humans. So it's not about um, nixing the pipeline so that, because it's going to hurt humans if the oil leaches into the water
yeah.
supply. It's about getting rid of the pipeline so that when humans are gone, there won't be oil spilling on whatever life is, you know, wants to regenerate there. So it is kind of an environmentalist type of doomer, right? Where you're thinking about the future of the planet post-human already. It's like the end of humanity, the collapse of civilization's a given. What can I do to preserve this place? And
Yeah, but it's not going to scale.
no, no.
It's not going to scale. But whatever, hell, if it makes you sleep better at night. And no, I honestly cannot think of one single thing that is gonna happen. So it's a blanket ain't gonna happen. I'm as sick as in some ways I'm getting sicker of the apocalyptimists than I am in the flat out deniers. They're sadder in a way than just flat out denying there's anything wrong. To sit there and admit that something is wrong, to admit that we are fucked, but then to say what the genie's gonna hop out of the bottle, you know what it ain't gonna happen. There is no blue genie coming to save us.
Well, speaking of coming to save us, you and I made our very best prediction ever at the start of 2024, which was an election year,
Oh God.
and we I think we asked each other the question, do you think Trump is going to win the election? It was 11 months out, and we both said yes, right?
Of course.
So, that we're in the next election year here in the United States, where I mean Trump's not up, but the Senate is, the House is, and everything else. Do you have any thoughts at all
All
about the
right,
election?
here's we'll spend 5 or 6 minutes on this because I mean it's going to be out there. Tr First of all, trying at this point to second guess what Donald Trump is going to come up with between now and what November 5th. There's nobody. Nostradamus would have been on his ass. You cannot predict the actions of a madman. The guy is a clinically insane madman. So I'm not even going to pretend what that fucker is going to come up with. But my guess is that his numbers, his polling numbers, are going to be lower. I think they already might be there at like 36. That the the Democrats, oh God, the Democrats are going to pretty much sweep the midterms. But just like I said about Joe Biden, I'm saying about this, the Democrats are not going to win one seat. The Republicans are going to lose the seats. Joe Biden did not win the 2020 election. Donald Trump lost it, and it's going to be a repeat of that in the midterms. The only Republicans who stand a chance by November of winning are people who have the balls, which probably means it's going to be a woman, to say we're done with this. We're done with this dude. What was Trump's son saying? And it was most intelligent, Don Jr., that there is no longer a Republican. That Donald Trump is not a Republican. His own son. It's the Make America, not Make America, America First Party. That Donald Trump and anybody, so that's the American First Party. So Republicans that need to decide between now and their only chance is to tell that guy to go fuck himself and say we're not supporting the America First Party. So the Democrats are going to sweep it. but that means two things. Number one, as we all know, it doesn't mean a damn thing. I mean, for what we're talking about as doomers, it doesn't mean anything. Who's in power? They're going to be pro-natalist, pro-capitalist, the whole bit. So it ultimately makes no damn difference. But what is going to happen when they sweep them? That Donald Trump, we haven't seen nothing yet when he is lame duck. We're gonna have a lame duck madman seeking revenge, and everything is off the table what that motherfucker can come up with, but between November 26th and January of what
29.
29, I guess.
Yeah.
Anything could happen, but if you don't think it can get worse, that Donald Trump can't be worse, you wait till, and it's 100% his fault when the Democrats take it. There's one man to blame, or credit, is Donald Trump, just like Joe Biden is the one who put Donald Trump into the White House. Is Donald Trump who's putting every one of those Democrats who have no plan to do anything. Absolutely no plan any more than the Republicans, and it ultimately makes no difference. But it's going to get ugly when Donald Trump wakes up the next morning after the midterms election. Anything will
So
be able to happen.
so
So that's
you
my 5 minutes.
so you think that the elections are going to happen then?
Yes. They are gonna have that.
Okay.
That's the way I'm reading it. I could be 180% wrong. And a lot depends on whether Donald Trump is alive on November 5th.
Yeah, and the other thing is, do you think all this gerrymandering isn't going to make a difference then in Texas
He's
and
going to do everything, certainly everything he can, but he's getting pushback even from other Republicans on that. And good for any Republican standing up to that gerrymandering bullshit.
yeah.
Uh, so, what do you think? That's my crystal ball for what it's
Well,
worth.
you know what you mentioned about the period after the elections 27 and 28, I keep thinking that we are headed towards this sort of weird, miraculous synchronicity with Black Friday from the Depression. And so Black Friday, when the stock market, lost whatever 30% of its value there in
Yeah,
1920. So that um,
I think it was a Tuesday, but anyway.
I thought it was a
I
Monday,
think it was
a
Black
Monday. It
Tuesday.
was
You're thinking of
Monday. It
Black
was
Friday. You're
Monday,
thinking of
Black
Walmart.
Monday. Yeah. So Black Monday was October 28th, 1929. So I think we're looking at a 1929 crash that's similar to that. Now it might
Yeah,
happen in 27, we are building right now not just a little bubble, right? Right. We look at previous bubbles in this
yeah,
country,
yeah.
whether it was the tech bubble of the early 2000s or the housing bubble that burst in 2008. We are now sort of at the largest bubble in the history of the planet, certainly in the history of the economy of this country. And that bubble consists of Tesla, going up, like doubling its stock price at the same time that they
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
sell any cars, right? It consists of companies like all these AI companies, based on chips from NVIDIA that are promising all these things from their AI that it's sort of like in the tech bubble, you overpromise. Like we thought the World Wide Web was going to be this, you could have bought any domain name and made $1 million in a month if somebody thought that had value back in the year 2000, right? So there are bubbles in bubbles. Housing prices have nearly doubled post-pandemic, for example. And what I see is all these bubbles coming to a head in the second part of Trump's presidency. He wants a Fed that's going to lower interest rates, which is going to drive inflation, right? To lower the rate. So the idea is the easier money is to get to invest. Of course, the market will go up even more for a while. And they call this a melt up. I don't know if you ever heard of a melt
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
what we are in the middle of right now is a melt up. Uh, Things are so far beyond their a rational value for them, and it doesn't take much to have that tipping point in the economy. So I'm not sure when this is going to happen. It could be triggered by a flu. It could be triggered by an election result. It could be triggered by massive unemployment and layoffs that are happening in this country due to AI, taking over all these jobs. It could be just the debt bubbles bursting. So I think for me, if Trump does not manage to find a way to cause an emergency so that there are no elections, then I agree with you. The Democrats are going to, certainly win the House at the very least. Make his make him do completely irrational things to take revenge, and that's going to burst this bubble. And
oh, it's gonna be ugly, just jaw dropping ugly, and these late night TV comedians. I don't know how they're gonna keep up if there's any of them left on the air that hadn't been killed.
yeah, well, so that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking is going to happen as far as the trajectory. I agree that the Democrats are highly favored right now. But look, the guy has frontal temporal dementia. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that personally or not. But essentially, if you look that up, like what are the symptoms of
Yeah,
frontal temporal dementia? Like the
it's
symptoms,
Donald Trump.
the yeah, it's like a description of Donald Trump. It's
Yeah,
right, like
yeah.
you lash out with the meanest, ugliest, most socially inappropriate language available at people. So I mean, the problem is that you can have frontal temporal dementia for years. It's it can be a lingering illness. So we have not just a madman, but a demented, like with a physical condition right now. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, our joint prediction that Trump would get elected somehow felt very light and humorous when we made it, and I think we're
Nothing funny about it.
nothing. I mean, we were like, oh, I honestly thought, for example, and I said this on CNN during one of my 4 interviews before they figured out they never didn't want to have me again.
I was gonna get to this later in our talk. Anyway, finish your thought.
No, um, gosh, I lost.
Or
All
did I
right.
throw you off on your thought?
Yeah, no, it's all right. Um, the thing is, I thought Donald Trump, here's what I was thinking, would realize that in order to keep the red states happy, he could not
Yeah,
close down all of the windmills and all of the solar projects and all of the Green New Deal or the Biden Inflation Reduction Act projects because he'd be taking money away from constituents in Republican districts. And Trump is like screw them. And now,
exactly.
the farmers are broke and losing their health care, you know. So he's like screwed his own constituents, people who were voting for him. And the people who are most rely on health care, on these free clinics, on the government support, are from exactly where you are. They're from Texas and Arkansas and Mississippi and Louisiana. I mean, Florida. That's where those people live who use most of the socialist services this country offers. And they're the ones who are so pro-Trump. So
It's
So yeah, no, it's going to be interesting times this coming year. So what were you going to say about CNN?
I was what happened? You were such a media star in 2024. Did you do you think Michael Mann got the invitations from CNN to stop? What happened there? Did you cross a line or what happened with?
What happened is that every time they called me up, I said yes. And then they called me up again and I said no. Because it was on a topic that I just did not have any expertise on. And it was something like it was around COP 29, and it was
Uh,
going to be something like what is the impacts on the Ukraine-Russian war from the negotiations that are taking place at COP 29. And I'm like I can't do that. So I just said, look, I'm sick. I'd love to do this. I'm just sick this one time. I just can't, right? And they never called me back after that. So I don't know. I felt like I was on their short list until I said no the one time.
I would really, I mean, you were in the club there, brother. You were in the Michael Mann Club. I was wondering if fame was going to go to your head, but it
Oh yeah.
apparently it did not.
Well, yeah, it was a very weird thing there for a little while. I mean, it's like everybody wanted me, and then they figured out that there were people with degrees from UCLA or people who were professors at Harvard who would say the same things I would.
Yeah.
You got Rahmsdorf from Germany or whatever. You have people now saying this stuff out loud, right? I mean, they're not holding back, um, and I think by the end of 26, we're even going to have, there's more joining the doom train every day, Sam. I mean,
Well, there is, and I've said this many times. God, I mean, I started this. Well, I started that first channel in 2011, and I think I started this channel in 2016 or 17. But it used to be. I mean, you would have to get what did I used to say? An electron microscope and a team of bloodhounds to find one thing to talk about. It would take me 3 hours. And I'm talking 15 years ago. It would take 3 hours to find one thing to talk about. And now, good Lord, it would take 3 hours just to scratch, and everybody's doing this now. So I mean, I'm dropping out of the. I admit I'm a falling star. One of my predictions is this will be the last time we have this January 1st interview because Sam Mitchell at Collapse Chronicles will disappear this year.
well, no, I mean, certainly there's been a huge shift. Like maybe all of this year you've been lower energy for it, but I mean, you used to read an article religiously every single day, right? You would doom scroll, you'd find an article, you would read the article, you would comment on the article as you were reading it, you were right there in the moment with
Uh,
what was happening that day, right? And you very rarely do that. You will read something that strikes you as like particularly important or good or new,
yeah, yeah.
but the sort of daily ritual you had that's just gone.
But why do I need to be reading reading other people's stuff? I mean, I made that announcement a year ago. Like I really want this channel to be 100% original content, and for me, just unless I'm reading it from a sarcastic ain't gonna happen perspective. I still enjoy those. Just absolutely preposterous AGHs. But it's just. I mean, I was here a year ago, Elliot, and I'm more here today than. I mean, how many ways can you say sorry? We're fucked. And see, you haven't been here as long as I have.
Yeah,
You're
but
compared to me. I would be interested, and I know we'll still be buddies whether or not I disappear. But I would be interested to talk to you at the point where I am now. Okay,
well, I think that's coming,
and
Sam.
see if you're more of a black hat or econ and less into the data. I appreciate what absolutely appreciate what you and the other data doomers are doing, but I don't need any more data. I understand, brother. We're fucked. Okay, to get confirmation of that every day is I just wonder how much longer you're going to be able to just to keep saying here's more evidence that we're fucked.
Yeah, it's amazing that there are people who go on social media with the singular goal every single day to sort of say exactly that by virtue of um, repeating themselves, saying the same thing over and over
Yeah,
again.
that's what I'm becoming.
Um, so, I do these two things every day, just like I have the climate 8 ball and I have my moment of doom and my doom
Yeah,
quote, right?
yeah.
And my doom quote is sort of the way that I read books. Because I have 60, 70 climate books now sitting in front of me here. I can't read these
I have
books.
zero.
Yeah, I can't read these books. I mean, there's but what I can do is I can thumb through them and read a few paragraphs here or
So
there.
who is reading them? Who is reading the 67? I'm not reading them. I've never read a climate book. I don't think I have ever read a book about the climate in my entire life.
Yeah, but you've read all so you like me. I mean, I've read enough news articles, right? Enough essays so that there's nothing new in any of these books, right? It's like, oh, they're talking about that, and that's why I don't need to read it, right? Because I
Yeah.
already you already get what the whole thesis is of the book immediately. But what you don't get is like that little kind of nice little um, chunk called the doom quote, right? And when you can like show all these different people saying this stuff, right? All these different voices. It's not just doomers, right? It's all these different voices saying the same thing. I think that builds on itself, sort of a tapestry of doom that is more powerful than just sort of saying, "Oh, we're already at 2C," or "We're going to hit 2C by 2030," or "All humans will be dead by 2030," or whatever the thing is you want to say, right? It is so. I mean, so there's sort of building this tapestry of doom through the moment of doom and the doom quote is it keeps me occupied every morning. It gives me a way to not get in trouble, Sam, because I would get in trouble, honestly. I am the kind of person who gets in trouble. It's a way of keeping me out of trouble.
There
And
you go.
at the point in my life when I just feel like I don't have the energy to do it, I'll stop and not be apologetic about it. But um, I completely get, like, on a way I don't think many people could, where you're at, right? Because I can feel that in myself, right? I can feel this feeling like why am I doing this? Why I can be out, picking. I'm also a picker, by the way.
Yeah.
I could be out
Yeah,
picking with
playing
friends.
music and enjoying it while you still and I used to make $20,000 a year on YouTube. Well, all of that we all know we're not going to get into that when that crashed and burned. But there used to be a $20,000 a year job, which did give me a little more. But now I might be making 3,000. Well, not counting my very kind donations to my GoFundMe, especially to my good buddy from Australia, who I will be forever indebted to that man. But not counting falling off a roof. If I make $3,000 a year, so there's absolutely zero monetary gain. and it's just and I'm tired of just talking to myself and saying the same thing over and over and over again. So I thought I would go over there to Substack, and what do I have, about 200? I think I got about 200 subs over at Substack, but I don't know if that's
Well,
I'm
I
trying to.
like
So how do you rebrand yourself when you're a doomer?
So I like you being on Substack because it gives you access to the sort of interactions that people have on these social media sites that you didn't get on YouTube. You know,
Yeah.
the quick access to comments and new information. So I appreciate you being on Substack. So don't give that one up, Sam.
Well, I'll be back in Florida next week, so I'm leaving Austin tomorrow. I really am leaving Austin, Texas tomorrow. So I will have a lot of, I have no idea what I'm doing with the next 3.5 months of my life. No clue what I'm doing with myself between now and April 20th. No
So,
clue.
so you're going to be at the Doomsday Trailer,
Yeah, I will be
you
back at
know, at the end
Doomsday
of a dirt
Trail.
road next to a swamp in Florida. Just, don't cut down too many trees with a chainsaw. You know,
That's,
keep the alligators away from your little dog. And if you need a routine, then go back and read a few stories. Everybody loves it when you read this stuff, Sam. Whether are sick of it or not, people really like your voice. So I'd
yeah,
encourage
it's just
you,
like
if
I'm
you're looking
thinking,
for something
how
to do.
yeah, how does a doomer and I'm never pretending, no matter what I come up with, don't, as much as you guys might laugh, that doesn't mean I'm no longer a doomer. You can't unsee what I see. Okay, don't, so whatever happens to me in 2026 is not because I'm unseeing how fuck we are. But you never knew my buddy Mike Sleva, that was Guy McPherson's right hand man for years. So you came in after the Mike Sleva years. So you know what Sleva is? Anybody listening and wondering what happened to Mike Sleva? I'm not making this up. That Mike Sleva, one of the biggest black hat doomers in the doomosphere, he now is a pickleball spokesman. I think he has a YouTube channel, and he goes around the country to pickleball tournaments. He went from "we are fucked" to pickleball. His entire life is the most clueless fucking moron activity. I actually saw my first pickleball game a few days ago, walking Sancho in the park. I asked my friend, "What is that?" She's going, "That's pickleball." And I said, "I've never seen a pickleball game." If Mike Sleva can do that with his life, there is no telling what I can come up with when I
Well,
rebrand myself.
I just don't want you to get into roof repair, all right? You will
Uh,
not do roofing repair or replacement. That's,
well,
you are, a couple things. You're forbidden from getting on a roof. You're forbidden from using a chainsaw. I don't know what the other things I should tell you that you can't do anymore. But we got to close this down soon. I want to ask one other question, Sam. This is a
all right.
completely different type of topic. You just
Okay.
posted a video of being 150 pounds. You were 180 pounds
I
after
was
you left,
187. I think I'm 145 now.
after leaving the Doomsday Trailer, right? You were 180. You were so depressed you ate, uh, packages of Debbie Delight
No,
donuts
it's
all day long.
14 pecan pies. 14 pecan pies by myself I ate.
How did you lose all that weight, Sam? Because I know you're still drinking your margaritas every day.
I stopped stuffing my face because I had no exercise. But I was flat on my back. I was in a wheelchair. I was on a walker. So between April 26th and the 4th of July, with no physical exercise involved, I lost 30 pounds, over 30 pounds. And now I am down, I think, 42 pounds. But it was very weird about the depression that after falling off that roof and the going through that flood this summer, I had more reasons to be depressed this in 2025 than in my life, and I was, it was weird where the depression went to, but I feel it's going to get ugly when I get back to Florida. I feel some dark nights of the soul in my life, and I will probably be posting the really dark shit on that other channel.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Whoever that guy is, I
yeah, whoever that guy is.
yeah. Well, at least you have the voice, to be able to say those things when you need to. All right, Sam. Let's call it on this one. It is an absolutely beautiful day here, a spectacular day here in the end times in Santa Barbara, and I'm gonna go out and enjoy it while I still can. And I want to wish you a happy New Year and a happy 2026. And I'm really hoping we can do this again January 1st, 2027. But
Uh,
things happen. We'll see
it,
how that goes.
it could be whatever. What the hell happened to you, brother? Interview, like whatever happened to that guy interview. Anyway, it's going to be a wild ride. Buckle up and grab your little dog and
You got a
anyway,
good one
brother,
there.
love you.
Love you too.
Onward through the fog, and we will see where this leads.
All right. I'll see you.